Yeah, she might be on the phone right now.
Is it?
Yep, okay.
All right, good morning. I'd like to officially call this Board of Commissioners meeting to order for Tuesday, June 24th. Please join us with pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Rayner, you'll lead us in prayer.
All right. Lord, we thank you again for another day to gather together to do the business of the county. We ask for your wisdom and guidance again today. In Jesus' name, amen.
And roll call.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner Witt?
Here.
All right. I'd like to ask for motion for the signing of the journal and to approve the DVD recording of the previous board session from Tuesday, June 17th, and the written index.
I'll move.
Second it.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. All right. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Anything that needs to get added on here?
Not what I was-
Any adjustments to the agenda?
I got new business for you.
New business, okay. I'll just write now, county administrator. Under new business. Okay. Mr. Zach, we had you down at 10 o'clock. Would you like to go now?
I'll be happy to.
Good. Come, you can come up, you can sit, whatever you want to do.
Doesn't matter.
No, doesn't matter to us. Unless you want to, now, if you want to be in the recording, other than just your voice, come up getting close and you've got the camera recording.
I can see everybody over, you can see me.
Looks like a good hair day
This
for
is
you.
a
You're
small
good.
enough group, I don't need to kind of do the whole stand thing, unless the commissioners would like me to.
No.
So, good morning, thank you for having me on the agenda. I am here at the request of Commissioner Zoller, as he is a board member of the Seneca Industrial and Economic Development Corporation, also on the executive committee. And we're working through some of our financial things. We've come up with our budget, and then I had conversations with Commissioner Wagner and Commissioner Stacy about coming back at some point later in the future that I had started and looking at the county's contribution, which is significant. In the past, it's been $30,000, and then it was cut by $3,000. County is very frugal and fiscally conservative, which I admire and respect and think is great. And that's why there's some extra cash on hand that you need for rainy days and for other very important programs. Also, having been an employee of a county, I was the Countywide Economic Development Director for Fairfield County, working for the county commissioners. And when I was in Springfield working for a private economic development corporation, we had significant support from Clark County Commissioners. So I've worked with commissioners a long time. I understand some of county budgets and how they work and how expensive public safety is, and how expensive supporting indigent justice issues and working on the many things that you have to do. Job and Family Services is another very important function that helps get people jobs and helps work with employers. And so I've always had a very close relationship with counties, county commission, appreciation for what you all do. So I'm coming back to kind of what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about where SIDEC has come and a little bit what we're about, which I know many of you know, but I think for the good of the order is kind of lay some of the groundwork. Talk about what we're looking to achieve and then make a request for your consideration with respect to the county's contribution moving forward in the future. The Seneca Industrial and Economic Development Corporation is quite unique around the state of the organizations that I've benchmarked, in that our scope of activities is broader than most every other economic development organization. We are responsible for economic development, community development, and downtown development. All of it for the city of Tiffin. We work collectively with the Regional Planning Commission on some of the county-wide, i.e. non-Tiffin, city of Tiffin community development issues, and we work very closely with the city of Fostoria, which, as everyone knows, or many may know, has its own economic development corporation as well, and the county supports that organization too, as well it should, as most of the industry and businesses in Fostoria are located within Seneca County, so it's important as well. As many of you know, there are several important hundreds of businesses. Not only, there are 2,000 businesses in the county, and many of those businesses are not only located in the city of Tiffin, but also outside in the incorporated areas or in some of the villages in this county. So I think the scope of our activities makes us quite unique and puts us, positions us well to make significant impact on the quality of life of the residents of Seneca County in a way that many other economic development organizations can't do. Because in my mind, in my philosophy, economic development is not just about the recruitment, the attraction, and the retention of companies, but it's also about the recruitment, attraction, and retention of people, of talent. And the long-term success of Seneca County is going to be dependent on both being able to give the tools and create an environment for businesses to grow and expand. Businesses like you'll have here, whether it's agribusiness, one of the largest business industry in the county and in the state, or it's manufacturing, or it's service, or it's retail. Having been from county, I think retail is something that's very important. From a budgetary standpoint, it generates sales tax, and so we work at a holistic approach to economic development that does not just industrial and manufacturing, although that's oftentimes viewed as the bread and butter, but it also looks at retail, looks at service, looks at ways we can support the agribusiness as well throughout the entire county. So the way the organization is set up is again, it's well positioned to impact what I believe to be everything related to what's going to be necessary to allow the business and the economy to grow and the population to grow and make this a healthy, successful county with tremendous welfare and quality of life. In order to do that, we've benchmarked a lot of economic development organizations and really looked to be frugal and fiscal with our budget. We are a private economic development organization, so we don't publish our financials. But I think it is important to say that we are very lean and mean the way I've structured it. So we are significantly less in terms of the amount of money that we raise than many other organizations. We are also significantly looking to increase the amount of private fundraising from what we had to more than double, and we are well on our way to accomplish that. So my desire in coming here is not to say we want a whole bunch more county money, and we haven't done that with the city as well. Because quite honestly, as a private economic development organization, what I would like to do is have the majority of our money for operations funded privately, which most economic development organizations that are private economic development organizations do, and then come to the county and the city and other entities, villages for projects. So if we're looking to do a community branding initiative, and can the county participate in that, or an update to a downtown plan or a community development plan or whatever it is, that's where I would like to be able to come to the county as well as the city or the villages and say, look, this is a project, this is a good investment of public taxpayer funds, which is always, I mean, the money that we all have here is everybody's money. It's not sitting. So I always take that very seriously. So giving you a sense of my general approach is, I don't want to significantly increase the public support, but what I'm looking to do is kind of restore. So this is a little bit of what I'm asking. I'd like to restore it back to the 30,000 and ask for a small cost of living increase, or I mean, we're not living, but the city gave us approximately a 7.7 increase. They restored it to 65 and upped it to 70. So they gave us an additional 10, some of which was for community development. This is also a matter of public records. We get 70,000 from the county. So what I would like the county to consider is restoring us to 30 and asking for an additional 5, which is half of what the county, and it's, the county's contribution is about half of the city. So that's what I'd like you to consider. I'm not going to be coming back, I anticipate, every year. This just hasn't increased over a long period of time. What are we going to do with that money? That money is critical for us being able to basically keep the lights on, pay our staff, which we're very competitive. We have a fabulous staff. We just hired a downtown development coordinator part-time, Amy Reinhardt, who has been doing a fabulous job. And we were able to bring over 200 people into the downtown, and those people are spending money, and they're going to Johnny Reno's, and we did and several other businesses in the downtown. So what we want to do is generate more commercial activity. We like people shopping and dining and being here versus going to Findlay. I love Findlay, but That doesn't help our county, so, or versus Fremont. So we're trying to generate this to be good quality of life. What does that money do? I mean, we have three kind of publicly accountable goals that we've stated out there. What is our scorecard? How will you judge the quality of our work, and what the public taxpayer investment will return to the taxpayers and residents of the county? And we have a 1-year goal, an every year goal, a 2-year goal, and a 5-year goal, 5 to 10 year goal. So we look at the short, medium, and long term. We call it the 3 planks of our economic development strategy. So the first is we need to visit 1,000 of the 2,000 businesses in the county every year. We need to touch base with them. We need to say, do you have the tools that you need to grow? There are 200 to 300 plus public programs. We need to make sure they're taking advantage of the resources that are out there. So everybody from Carol Owen, which not everybody has heard, oh wow, we can post on Ohio Means Jobs, or we have a job fair, those kinds of things. So we're spreading the message about what resources are out there, or is it the county's revolving loan fund, which still has some fund in it, or it's state incentives or federal incentives. That's part of our job, to be an information broker and give company those tools. And when we're hitting 1,000 businesses, we're not just hitting businesses in the city of Tiffin, but we're hitting businesses in the villages, we're hitting businesses in the unincorporated area, we're talking to some of the folks in Foster area as well. So by making it such a large number and basically hitting half of the businesses, it's going to guarantee that we're going to be talking to businesses throughout Seneca County. And I think that's an important point, especially to provide to you commissioners who are responsible for all of Seneca County, both its residents and its businesses. The second thing, and that's something we intend to do every year, and we track that, and we will report on that on April 4th or April 3rd, whenever our next annual meeting is, because that's when we set our goals, and so our performance year is April 3rd, April 4th through the year. The second goal, which is a 2-year goal, is a marketing goal. And that is, we happen to believe that Seneca County, I mean, I wouldn't have come here, I think Seneca County and its villages and cities is one of the best places to live and run a business. And so we're going to identify, package, and market, and we already have begun this, the 1,000 best, we believe there are more, reasons to live and run a business in this county. And that is a very ambitious goal. No one has quite done that in the country. And what it will do is allow us to get away from glittering generalities of we've got a great quality of life and we have parks. And let's get down to specifics on why this is so unique and why it's so great. And we started doing that in multiple ways, including with a recent initiative on Facebook where we're doing the 1,000 Reasons game, which gets people inside the community, inside the county excited. Whether it's doing a picture of Church and Dwight and what's this and what do they do and why is that exciting, to stuff in the city or other places. We're going to promote a lot of the reasons. And then once we get those reasons, we can weave that together into a compelling story that would want people to come here and keep people staying here, because there's a lot of quality of life aspect in that too. Last but certainly not least, what is an investment of public taxpayer money paid for? At the end of the day, we're about jobs. And so we look at jobs can fluctuate, the economy fluctuates, but within the next 5-10 years, we want to create an environment, because we at the Seneca Industrial Economic Development Corporation don't create jobs. Businesses and entrepreneurs do, but we want to help create an environment where there will be 1,000 new jobs created in the next 5 to 10 years in this county. And we will track that, and that's really going to be a significant test. Of course, every year we'll be able to talk about how we've progressed along that path. And of course, overall in the economy, you're going to lose some and gain some, but if we're on track to get 1,000 jobs, this county will grow. Municipal village income tax will grow, school district funds will grow because real estate property will get better, the overall tax base will increase, so it's good for our schools and our education. Sales tax will continue to grow. I mean, the county gets both property and sales tax, so that will grow. And what that means, both for the county and the villages and the city and the townships, it means increased revenue to provide great services, which enhances quality of life, which enhances the overall ability to be successful in helping jobs grow. So 1,000 businesses a year, 1,000 reasons in the next 2 years why this is great, and lastly, create an environment where 1,000 new jobs are created in the next 5-10 years. I believe that's an easy to understand, easy to be accountable scorecard that really will make a difference for the residents of this county. And so I feel comfortable asking for a restoration of the 3,000, and I feel comfortable asking for a small increase, as we won't be coming back every year. I know these times are tough. I know that the reason the county is in good financial shape is because of your stewardship of those funds, representing the residents and voters of Seneca County. And so I appreciate the time that you've given me today to kind of share what we're doing and why we're doing it, and to make a request for your consideration. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you for being here. Our current amount is 17,000 that we.
It's 17?
For the current
Yeah, I
budget.
think you said 27.
I
I
thought
think
27.
17 is what's been the
Yeah.
budget for a couple of years now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. That is a mistake then?
I think we were originally at
Was it 20?
Yeah.
and went to 17 2 years ago or something
Okay.
like that.
Then I would adjust it then. I apologize for that.
That's all right.
I would
Sorry.
adjust to restoration to 20 and then an additional 5. So it won't be the numbers I'm talking about. Because what I was about was just an increase to accommodate inflation and a restoration, so.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
your-
for that
For your
correction.
ambitious goals. We appreciate you making some things that are tangible that can be measured. That's.
And thank you,
David,
Stacy.
I would ask that, part of the governor's edict to all of us is look at shared services and so forth.
Mhm.
And I know there's been backroom discussions through the years about, here we got economic development in Fostoria, FEDC, and we got SIDC in Tiffin. I would strongly applaud that if you could, and implore you to look at discussions with Fostoria and see if there's some way that we can consolidate some services between Fostoria and Tiffin, Seneca County. It just seems to make sense than to have two directors and two separate organizations. I realize, there's a lot that would have to be done, but I would think that those discussions and those thoughts should really be investigated.
Yeah, a quick response to that. One, I agree. I always think, having been in the public sector for more than a decade, we're always looking for efficiency, right? And so I think the place where that starts is building relationships and helping and working together. And so that's gonna, that will take a while. Fostoria is also interesting that, it transcends it's in 3 counties. So, they work with Wood County and they work with Hancock County as well. And so, my approach has been, although I'm completely put on the government hat with efficiency at this time now, is to build relationships, provide services where we can. They'll be having a new director come in who may or may not, he or she may or may not have a lot of significant economic development experience. What I've offered is to help that person. Fostoria also does not have a downtown development director, so we're going to bring Amy over next month to introduce and try to support and help that the best that we can. I think if we do that, it will lay a groundwork for being able to have discussions about whether it makes sense. Because I'm very, I look at things, having done countywide economic development for a number of years, I look at things holistically, and what they would have asked us to do, and we're doing at this point, is to help them. And help supplement and do things that makes them a better place and helps improve the life of their citizens, which are our citizens. So we're going to help and support as they would like us, and look at those as first opportunities to build bridges. I along with Commissioner Stacy, go to every month to the board meetings of the Fostoria Economic Development Corporation. Fantastic board, fantastic companies. People care about Fostoria just like people in Tiffin care about Tiffin, and New Regal and Old Fort, they care about their communities as well. So we want to see them prosper and succeed. And so, from my perspective, also being new here, no one, it's just, people are just getting to know me. So we're just trying to support them as they would like us to at this point. And, I think everybody's looking. There's going to be regional partnerships as well. So not just what kind of efficiencies can be gained in working with Fostoria at whatever level, but how do we also partner with other counties to do things? So from a marketing standpoint, we've begun discussions, whether it's Sandusky County, or Findlay, Hancock County, ways we can work together, collaboratively and collectively. So it's a great point, and we are looking at this point for ways to support and help them. I think everybody's always looking for the biggest bang for the buck. And at the end of the day, how do we, with the most efficient use of resources, accomplish things for Tiffin, for the villages, for the townships, and for Fostoria. And so that's what we're about.
What did you say that the city of Tiffin, they went from 65,000
They
contribution?
They restored it, and they provide an additional funds to support some of the downtown efforts. So an additional 10 to support the downtown efforts.
So they were at 65 and they went to what, 75?
Well, no, they're at
I'm
70.
trying to get my hand around that.
Yeah, so again, similar to the county numbers, I apologize. They have gone to 70. So the logic, and I'll forward this to you in an email when I check these numbers as well. I know what they're at because I'm doing the budgeting, I believe, and the restoration of the funds happened just before I came in, so I wasn't at the meeting and was told secondhand. But that would suggest they were at 60 and went to 70, but I'll confirm that.
They used.
But
to do
that,
their
but I
block
think
grants.
5 of that may have been of restoration they were at 60, so they gave us an additional 10, but I believe, and I will check this, 5,000 of that was a restoration of 5,000 that had been not allocated. An additional 5,000 was given, then over and above what they had previously done.
Okay,
So there was a restoration and an increase.
okay, so in the county's case, we're at 17, and I believe that is what it is. That is what it has been, and you're proposing for that to go to 20, and then a one-time or a continuation of $5,000, so we'd go to 25,000.
That's
That's your
correct.
proposal.
That is my proposal, with the intention not to ask for an operational increase next year, or, I mean, just to set the base there. And then work with the county on individual requests for any kinds of initiatives. So just adjust the cost basis as we did with the city.
And the cities, like you said, to restore a little bit and then some additional.
Yeah, so-
But the Tiffin Tomorrow aspect that SIDEC took on, that, I mean, they're probably looking at that, because I don't know how that was funded before.
Yes, so.
It was a separate entity.
It was a separate entity, so that has become part of our budget. Some of the folks in the private fundraising side, we have been able to secure funding to provide for, combined with the city, to support a lot or the majority of that. And so we're confident in our ability to operate with the current resources and the plan that we have for the downtown.
Are you proposing this to be retroactive to 2014 or being enacted for 2015's budget?
What I would propose is, I'm a believer in not going retroactive generally, so what I would propose is I think we've typically done it at the beginning of the year, correct, with the county?
We
We
budget
budget at the end
in December and
Yeah.
then appropriations are made throughout the
Yeah,
year.
so I would, so your budgeting process is gonna happen later this year?
Mhm.
So what we're doing in the private fundraiser, I would propose to doing that for next year. So what I'm trying to do is solidify my commitment. You know, you have a budget that's already in place. I don't wanna, so this is what we do with our private entities as well, because they budgeted so much. And so whenever they're up for renewal later this year or beginning of next year, that's when we're there asking them to increase. So this is just David Zach philosophy. I don't think it's fair to come in when you've kind of allocated every dollar as appropriate, unless it's an initiative which you have stuff on. So I would propose operationally that you consider, and what we're looking to try to do is get a commitment so that when you go through your process, you can include it within the scope of your budget.
We get our certification first part of December, what the Budget Commission says they think we'll have next year, and then we start putting it in categories shortly after that.
So, yes, I would be looking for a commitment sometime in the near future, but not asking you to pull the trigger on that out of existing cash, but make that part of next year's budget, is what I would be asking.
Okay.
Can you send me that in an email? That way I
Yes,
can
ma'am.
put it with my
Mhm.
budget stuff for.
I will
So,
be asking.
so what do we do? At this point, do we,
I guess I'm not sure what type of commitment we can make until the Budget Commission has given us our numbers.
Okay.
Like Jeff said, that's gonna be late November, December. We
Okay.
start working on the budget long before then, but we can't guarantee anybody anything until we see what the Budget Commission does. Obviously, the closer we get to that mark, the better feel we have for
Okay.
that, but we never know for sure.
Right.
I mean,
I've only done it one time, I don't know.
from their perspective, I mean, because you've got financial commitments and so forth, I would like to make a proposal that we automatically accept the 3,000, but we don't make a decision on the additional 5,000 until after, we get within the budget, strong into the budget, so we see what our income is versus expenses. But you've got planning you need to do, and
from my perspective, I would feel comfortable in committing that in next year when our renewal's up, that we would commit to 3,000 more, so that would take us up to 20,000. But the additional 5 decision, I'm just repeating myself.
Revisit it when you get into the budget
Yeah,
process.
yeah, that would be the proposal that I would make, because
I think we could make that our goal, but again, as Holly says, we don't know if the budget commission, we have a pretty good idea it will be the same as it is this year or similar, but we don't really know until they give us the number that they're gonna certify we can spend.
Right.
But I'm not uncomfortable making that the goal.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Very much, absolutely.
Coming over and giving the update and sharing your goals and all
Appreciate
the
it. Thank you very much.
All right, we're gonna do the bid opening that we were scheduled to do. We're a little behind, but let's move forward with that resurfacing bid opening. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
This is for the Seneca County Road 5, County Road 13, and County Road 19 pavement resurfacing project. This bid is from, the engineer's estimate, first will be $875,602, 875,602.00. First bid is the Shelley Company out of Findlay, Ohio. Their total bid amount for this project is $798,076.25, 798,076.25. Second bid is from M&B Asphalt out of Old Fort, Ohio. Total bid amount for this project, $823,222.70, 823,222.70. Job approved. The last bid I have is from Birkin Paving out of Napoleon, Ohio. Total bid amount, $794,333.04, 794,333.04. And that's all the bids I have.
All right, well, thank you to everyone for bidding on that project. All of them under the engineer's estimate, those all go to the county engineer for review and,
Recommendation for us.
yeah, come back. So thank you. Let's move back to, I guess we didn't have any old business listed. Are we doing anything for old business? Okay. We'll go ahead with some of the new business. We're scheduled for an executive session at 10:30, but
We can do that whenever.
We're okay, okay.
Yeah, nobody's coming in for this, just us, so.
let's start with new business. Do you wanna start with whatever you're adding to the
Sure.
agenda? Let's start right there.
It's a little bit of old business and new business. As you can tell, our parking lots at our building and the CSB are well underway. We were hoping that the lots would, especially our lot, was gonna be done for today. When we got into it last week, they noticed there was not, and I don't know anything about asphalt, there was not a base underneath it. So they had to bring in more stone, they had to do a little bit of extra work. And they started getting down the wall little retaining wall that's right there. It was doing some rotting, so they're going to knock that out and grade it down, which he said would help with we do have issues with water puddling in our lot, which sometimes end up sending that water down into our basement. So that will actually help us out. So he's hoping the cost on that will offset with the cost on the CSP because there was less work they had to do over there. So we don't have any change orders as of yet, but that's why it's taken a little bit longer than we anticipated, just because there wasn't, and there's no way Mark could have known that without digging into it, that there was not that base that we needed for it. So that's why it's taking us a little longer. They did find a issue this morning that when the contractor was digging, they found an old tank. So we had to make some calls this morning to get make sure we get the proper permits to get that thing out of there. So we didn't know it was there, so
Yeah.
we'll just do the steps and
Okay.
Well, that's gonna hold up the job then.
yes. So our lot will be down for a little while they get, because we have to have a different contractor come in to actually take the tank out. So they said we just have to file the proper permits and get it taken out. And so our lot will probably be down for a little bit. They're going to go ahead and go over to the CSB and get it taken care of. So, but ours will be down for a little while until we can get that scheduled and get it out of there.
What kind of tank is it? Is it gonna be EPA issues or?
We have to check into it first. Had Chief Ennis come over and look at it, and he's helping us make some calls to make sure that we're good on that. So.
We all know how reasonable Buster can be.
Yeah, we're still dealing with that over at the courthouse. So
Okay.
that's the update I had for that. Little old, little new business.
Yeah.
Give us some good news.
I guess begin with the bill vouchers and proceed through the resolutions.
I have bill vouchers 64 through 69. I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the general fund for 2014. This is at the request of Common Police 2, moving $12,026.92 into salaries and $174.39 into Medicare, total of $12,201.31. This is again at the request of Judge Schiff, with Jean Eckleberry moving to the clerk of courts. This was an unexpected expense for her vacation buyout, and we discussed that at the beginning of I think last year. So judges have different policy than we do, so their vacation was actually I think a little bit less than what the county's is. So he had asked that we do this, so it was unexpected. We didn't know Mary was retiring, so I don't think it's necessarily right to pull it out of his current budget. So I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the general fund. This is the amounts that we talked about the fairs last week. Seneca County Fair for $17,000 and Attica Fair for $2,000, total of $19,000. I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the Public Assistance Fund 030, putting $25,000 into supplies. I have a supplement to the permit appropriation for the Public Assistance Fund 030, putting $1,000 into foster care other expense. I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the Seneca County Sewer District Fund 139, and it's putting $1,866.81 into two different contract service lines. But the total requested will be $3,733.62. I have an appropriation adjustment within the ambulance service fund, moving $9,208.20 from workers' comp to medical equipment. I have an appropriation adjustment within the Moving Ohio Forward Grant Program, Fund 073, moving $349.23 into from contract services to other expense. A resolution accepting the recommendation from the Seneca County engineer to award bid to Dellinger Excavating for the culvert replacement project in the village of Bettsville to be paid with CDBG FY13 funds. A resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to sign a satisfaction of mortgage for Wanda Meredith for the satisfaction mortgage loan with the Seneca County Commissioners for work done through the Community Housing Improvement Program. I have a resolution authorizing an agreement with Terra Community College to provide a North Coast Regional One-Stop System purchase of service contract on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services, pending prosecutor approval. I have a resolution establishing the SFY 15 Community Corrections Fund 086. And those are all the resolutions I have.
I make the motion that we accept those resolutions as outlined.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments, concerns on any of the resolutions?
Just question on the mortgage obligation, is that apparently something that through CHIP that they borrowed money and then when it's paid back, then the mortgage is relinquished? We must hold the mortgage on the property when they, okay. I understand.
Any other questions on any of the resolutions as stated? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes, all approved, thank you. All right, that moves, now we could do citizens' comments at this time. We still have, we're gonna have an executive session and also the Opportunity Center's coming in to speak with us at 11. So, not sure what we'll, Tom.
My name's Tom Breidenbaugh. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but the county parking lots now are laying out in front of the driveway going back to the cemetery. There's a mountain out there probably as large as this building. I don't know what that's gonna be used for, but Fred suggested a while back or recently about grading that driveway, which is good. But with that mountain of blacktop out there, if that could be spread out down that lane,
That's the intent.
driveway, that could make a nice drive out of that.
I think that's the intention and why it was put there.
Is that why it's
Yep.
there?
Yep, because we didn't know until they were in, from what Tanya was explaining to me, and they came in and asked, they said if we could have it, if we gave them a place to dump it, we said we wouldn't pay for it if we had to buy it. And is it all from these lots,
Yes,
from these two lots?
yeah.
Mostly CSB.
Unless he needs some to now
Yeah,
do the
unless
base
he-
on
yeah,
this,
unless-
so.
Now with this other little issue, we might have some more fill or something, I don't know.
We might
With
need
this
more,
whole
we
tank
might need
thing.
a bag.
But that's the intention why we had them put it there.
Good.
Was that we could do something with that. If Mark will
Good.
just give Stacy the keys to the backhoe, she's gonna go out there
Yep.
and do that. But yeah, we thought that would be a good
Thank you.
solution to that.
Great idea, great
So-
idea.
We may have to redo the tombstones if she has a key to the back.
I made an
She knew
inquiry
where the
with
break is.
Mark Zimmerman last week, prior to even knowing, I didn't know this was out there, and I just asked if Mark could possibly take a grader and go down one side of the road and then turn around and come back, and that was it. And of course, Mark said that's not his responsibility, that, but he said he would take a look at it to see if he could do it, because I know that, I think Tom, you or somebody approached me and said that the Boy Scouts would do some of the physical work there, so it's just a matter of once, unless we go ahead and add more fill, or, you know, more the driveway, but if not, just a matter of taking the hump out of the middle, and then they can do the handwork, the Boy Scouts can do that, so if you guys see Mr. Zimmerman, you may wanna plead with him again, that he said he would look at it.
Yeah, and like I said, we've got this piled out there for that, hopes of using it that way.
There may be a time when the weather or the ground is really wet, when the funeral, and somebody may have to go back there sometime.
Yeah.
If this blacktop laid there, I think it would make a nice
Yeah.
drive on it.
yeah, that would be a good way to use it.
Well, Mark,
So, yeah, that was the intention, why it was piled there, and like I said, well, we're seeing as things unfold.
It's a huge mountain. If you see it,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable
Yeah.
how big it is. It's as big as the barn almost.
we don't know if he'll tailgate that yet for us.
No, I know Mark had said that, again, because of not
He's not
public
excited
roadway,
about it,
he
yeah.
wasn't, interested in being able to, this is the answer to me before, but as before we knew we were gonna have this material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what we get. Anything else for citizens' comments?
Do you wanna mention your grant?
Yep, I do. Good news, on the side of this EMS, I'm Ken Majors. We got awarded a grant this year for the 2014-2015 Ohio Division of EMS grant for training and equipment of $9,750, which is an increase of about $3,000 from ones we've had in the past 4 or 5 years. Several, in 2008 or 7 or 8, we got 15,000. It's interesting that whenever I go down there and meet face to face with them, they give us more money. So it's sometimes worth the trip,
Stay down there.
I should stay down there. You go down there and dance on their desk, and they look at you and go, "Oh, he really needs money," so they gave you some. So that's good news, and fortunately, we've already got it spent, and that was what that supplemental appropriation was. What we're doing there is we're buying we're increasing our capabilities to transmit EKGs from the east side of the county. I think we discussed at several of our meetings that we only have the ability to transmit from the western edge, which is, well, not really western edge, but the western side of the county. New Rigo, Bascom, Bettsville, and the Echo unit are the only units that can transmit their 12 leads. Put one in Attica at the request of their coordinator, and also to increase our capabilities on the eastern side. And we're going to continue to do that as money is available. And when we get grants, the money becomes available. So I think it's money well spent. That was that report.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, do we have everybody here we need for the executive session?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna, I guess, move into having our executive session for the purposes of
Payroll compensation.
payroll compensation.
One other question first. Sir, if it would help, when you go down to Columbus, if one of the commissioners go, I would be glad to go
Absolutely.
with you, if it helps,
Right. Well,
I
we
can
do,
dance on the desk too.
We do a Ohio EMS Chiefs Association meeting once every, I don't know if it's quarterly, it is quarterly. And then we have a speaker come in, and last month it just happened to be the speaker was the director of EMS for the state. And I didn't know that at the time because I didn't read all my email. I apologize. I have enough other emails here that I need to read. So I didn't know he would be there until I was standing right in front of him. And I asked him about how the grants are awarded and why our grant money seems to be slipping off, and if there's something that we can do to change that. And I brought up a couple of issues, and he seemed to have listened, so that's a good thing. But I will absolutely.
We'll help in any, I'm
Next time
sure.
I have one of those meetings, I'll make sure that it gets
Any one of us would be glad
available
to.
for you guys
Yeah.
to come down. And I'll drive, and we usually go to lunch someplace. So. On them, on the
Skyline
stage,
Chili?
on those guys. On whoever
From there.
they usually pay whoever the guy is that does the speaking. Unfortunately, when it's a state director, he's not allowed to. But if it's a private guy, they pay for lunch.
All right. All right, do I need a motion to go into executive session?
I'll move.
Seconded.
Okay, I got a motion and a second to go into executive session for adjustments of, or not adjustments, but for review of compensation for employees.
Yes.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Do you need it?
I scanned it to myself.
Okay, it's 10:44 and we will go into executive session.
And that thing at 11 might be interesting if anybody wants to come back for
Are
that.
they just doing an update of what they're doing out there? or what?
They've got a building that they no longer are using, that through grant money they got, kind of like the SCAT building is, but it's our building and it's got some restrictions on how,
The one in
what it can be
Fostoria.
used for, so.
It's the Early Childhood Center in Fostoria.
The early, yeah. What's,
Apparently they're not using it anymore, so.
oh.
We've
oh,
asked them to
just
come
the
in and give us an
Opportunity
update of what
Center.
has to
Okay,
happen,
Because there's
so.
other stuff in there
There's other
besides the
stuff in
Opportunity
there,
Center. Yeah, it's a nice building. Real quick, the resolution with the Terra Community College, is that just an annual thing or is that something new?
I would guess that's an annual thing.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
There's different
And
amendments throughout the year for it.
the other one, the bid opening for the repaving, is that gas tax money that pays for that?
that you would need to ask engineer.
Yeah, they're all county road resurfacing.
Yeah, unless he got a grant for it, it'd be gas tax and gas tax and license plate is his normal money.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But once he gets these grants and I don't know if that's been grant money or not.
Okay.
I just wanted to make another comment. The drive going back to the cemetery, last night I was out there, and there's water laying in those tracks.
On the tracks.
You guys are staying here, and we're leaving?
No,
We're
it's
leaving and we're
To the
staying.
point
I
of
don't know.
I guess we can go back if they wanna stay sitting.
Yeah, they're staying, you, we'll go back there.
I
It's
just,
probably more comfy back
I
there.
drove
Well,
back.
probably not. These
Yeah.
chairs are pretty nice.
Yeah, on the grass, on the grass.
You can borrow these over back there.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
If you see Mark, lend his ear.
That's right.
All right, we'll go to the back.
Yep.